I recently posted a video going over a bunch of data that was collected via a Battlefield survey. The survey sample size was about 6,000 people, and it asked everything under the sun regarding Battlefield, and that video had a heated comment section. And when I mean heated, I mean some people were really not happy with some of my opinions regarding Battlefield, and that is what I'm going to cover in this video today. I will be addressing some of the spiciest comments and opinions left on that video for me to read. So without further ado, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We've really been killing it on the past, honestly, 7 or 8 videos, including the review, guys. So thank you so much for all the support. And if you didn't know, I stream every single day on my Twitch and YouTube channel at the very same time. And just a quick thing, I want to try to get YouTube notifications up a little bit. So if you do enjoy the content, be sure to turn your notifications on. It does help the channel quite a bit. So, one of the spiciest topics in that video, where I go over the survey data, was regarding the topic of suppression, which has always been a very divisive and controversial topic within Battlefield anyway. My opinion on suppression really hasn't changed over the years. I have played multiple separate Battlefield games with the suppression mechanic in it, and guess what, guys? I think it's a terrible mechanic. I really do. I don't think it adds really anything to the game, but apparently a lot of people disagree, both in the data and in my comments section. Some people think suppression is really useful against snipers, some people think suppression should only be on light machine guns, and other people think suppression is an essential mechanic to Battlefield and should have never been removed. So in classic Battlefield community fashion, basically nobody agrees with one another. A reoccurring argument I kept seeing is that suppression needs to be in the game in order to actually make LMGs viable, or suppression needs to be in the game in order to make suppressing people actually matter, or else they can actually fight back and kill me while I'm suppressing them. Newsflash, guys, you can suppress people without there being a suppression mechanic in the game that actively punishes the person on the receiving end, making it impossible for that person to fight back. The act of suppressing someone is quite literally just shooting near them so that they cannot move. That is what suppression is, and people love to act like you can't do that unless suppression is actively ruining the other person's ability to aim accurately at you. My entire gist with suppression is it literally rewards people for missing. It does. We all know that we've been in situations where some guy is shooting at you and he misses, but then suppression kicks in and you would have killed him, except suppression made it so your weapon is shooting in like a figure 8 and you miss every single shot and you don't have a chance to actually recover. Those situations are some of the worst situations in the entirety of Battlefield. They feel terrible, and again, suppression, in my opinion, is an awful mechanic that should only be in the game if it is purely visual, meaning it has no effect on your aim or your spread, or really anything to do with the ability for you to fight back. Overall, suppression is going to be one of those topics that people can simply agree to disagree on. I am never going to budge from my opinion on suppression. I think it's a terrible mechanic, and we can leave it at that. Now, moving away from suppression and moving towards talking about movement, apparently I managed to piss off the movement haters, okay? There's a section of Battlefield players that cry and cope and seethe at any given point whenever any sort of advanced movement is brought up. If they see a slide, they immediately start typing a paragraph about how it breaks their immersion, or how they don't think it's realistic, or how it shouldn't be in the game and it destroys Battlefield. But you know what's funny? Those very same people claim they love Battlefield 2, and oh, I'm a Battlefield veteran. But they have a selective memory, because in Battlefield 2, people would dolphin dive and jump around like a madman if they actually understood how to use the movement. So what we're really experiencing here is Battlefield players having no idea what they're talking about, and basically it's just a massive self-expose for people that are bad at the game when it comes to movement. Basically, they're saying they can't hit the people that are moving, so it shouldn't be in the game. I totally understand some people disagree with my movement takes, but I do think a lot of people take my movement takes and stretch them to an extreme that I never stated. When I state I want Battlefield to have a decent movement system, people think, oh, Enders wants to, moonwalk backwards while eating spaghetti on the ceiling and then teleport. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I want a decent movement system. I would like jump peeking to be in the game. Jump peeking has been in Battlefield 3, 4, Hardline, Battlefield 5, and 2042, and Battlefield 2, and probably Battlefield BC2, but I never played that game, so I can't comment on it. I would like there to be a slide in the game. Why do I want there to be a slide in the game? Well, I think Battlefield has to adapt to modern gameplay standards, and I understand people don't like some modern gameplay standards, but the reality is gaming has evolved, it has changed. What people expect from a modern movement system is different from what people expected from a previous generation movement system. You have to try to cater to other similar player bases. Apex has a slide. Call of Duty has a slide. All these games have a slide. You could argue that Battlefield maybe not having a slide makes it more unique, but I would argue that Battlefield desperately needs new players, so you should probably make the gameplay a little similar to what they're already playing. And that is by no means sacrificing Battlefield's own style. No, no, no. The slide has been in 3 separate Battlefield games at this point, and it's been different every single time. In fact, I think Battlefield is actually a game that has done sliding the best out of any game I have ever really played. So the whole TLDR here is, some people want movement, other people don't, and they don't understand why the movement is essential to the gameplay. The harsh reality is, anyone that is super against any sort of advanced movement tech is probably really bad, and you shouldn't listen to them. I'm so sorry, but I have never met a good player that doesn't want jumping, that doesn't want sliding, that doesn't want strafing, that doesn't want crouching, that doesn't want at least a medium movement speed. I have never met one, ever. And to round off this argument about movement, and just to put out just a solid opinion in my opinion, so people can maybe look back and reference it, I would be 100% totally fine with Battlefield 5's movement system as it is for the entirety of time, even with its flaws. If you want to know what Enders wants in a Battlefield game's movement system, I'd be fine with Battlefield 5's movement system. I would even be fine with Battlefield 4's movement system with the BF5 slide. Totally good. You can just take that as a reference. And if anyone wants to cry to me in the comments about that, feel free, but guess what? I don't care. And the last thing I'll mention in this video is there were some people that were kind of annoyed that I didn't want 128 players, but I think it's as simple as looking at Battlefield 2042. Like, of course I don't want 128 players, because 128 players led to a lot of that game's problems, and I genuinely, truly believe that designing 64-player maps is simply easier. They have a better chance of making better maps if the player count is 64. So I will take 64 players all day, every day of the week. Oh, and right at the end here, I'll throw in some people that were complaining that I don't want snipers to basically be long-range shotguns and one-shot people in the chest. I understand that certain Battlefield games like BF3 and Battlefield 4 had 0 to, I believe, 10 and 20 meter one-shot ranges in the chest for sniper rifles. I don't really enjoy that. I think if you're going to have snipers, one-shot people in the chest, I think it should be between 0 and 10 meters to keep them in line as a sniper rifle. You don't want people running around like Call of Duty and using them as basically an advanced slug shotgun, instantly killing anyone that comes on your screen. It's not good for the game. You guys are just going to have to trust me on that one. And with that, I've essentially covered all the controversies in the comment sections, at least the big ones. Some classic controversies. I mean, really, suppression, movement, sniping, you name it, right? Classic Battlefield controversies. So if you enjoy the content, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I stream every single day on this YouTube channel and my Twitch channel. And be sure to check out my energy drink flavor, Glitch Energy Rageade. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Use code ENDERS for 20% off. I'll see you guys later.
It's not enjoyable, that's why I stopped. It's fun when I had my college and like doing with my friend and we just like vegetable out on the couch and play like Rainbow Six on the console.